In recent times, the demand for planetary materials has consistently gone up, with industry leaders openly stating that these are the bottlenecks that are holding back a number of industry projects, whether they be expanding on the corp tech tree, building new corp structures, or investing in capital ships and their super counterparts. So today, we will be covering the best possible ways for you to scale up your planetary materials output, that being through the use of Capsuleer Outposts. But first, how about we scale up that subscribe button? A long time ago in a constellation far, far away, that being Quirius, a younger Hale put together a nice little chart to demonstrate to fellow corp mates how much owning a Capsuleer outpost affects a Capsuleer's planetary materials output, which, with around 554 or 555 skills, came out at more than triple the output. Now granted, it is a little bit less than it says in this chart due to needing at least one planet to be assigned to fuel. Maybe even two, depending on what's available in your constellation. But you're still getting substantially more planetary materials than without one. Just as importantly, your 24-hour timer is extended to 72 hours, and all materials you launch from the planet are delivered straight to the Capsuleer Outpost's cargo hold. That's right, no worrying about PI thieves with these bad boys, and you can move the materials around at your convenience. It is worth noting, of course, that all the planets you set up extractors on need to be within the same constellation as the outpost itself to get any of the benefits, so there's no spreading them around the entire region. Now, let's talk about the downsides of owning a Capsuleer outpost. As with any structure, well, most structures anyway, it is a sitting duck and can be attacked at any time, with a 24-hour timer after the shields have been stripped before the armour becomes vulnerable, followed by the hull timer, which is vulnerable at a time of your choosing. A time that you will have to agree ahead of time with your friends, so you know when you are best able to defend this thing. Yes, you can equip guns to this thing, but they are easy enough to avoid as an attacking fleet, and can be considered worthless by the many. That said, you can get the occasional surprise kill mail, but they are occasional. And I might have skipped a beat here, as the outpost itself is vulnerable for a short duration after anchoring the structure, and then again another 24 hours later. Anyone looking for some easy kills after scanning this one down might just be sure to take note of that timer. The next disadvantage to be aware of is location. Back when I was a recruiter for a small corporation, the most common demand I saw of potential players was for space to anchor an outpost in SOV space. That's much easier said than done. Every system has its own limit on the number of outposts that can be anchored, and those vital slots are often already taken up by players who are already a vital part of the local industrial machine. They're not going to be giving up those slots. The odds are, as a nullsec player, this will be your case, your SOV space is already full of outposts, just simply people that got there before you. The only option here is to essentially expand your territory, so to speak. For example, prior to the outbreak of the war, my previous corporation, Hogs, had a constellation of outposts set up in Pure Blind. We had no SOV over in Pure Blind, and the Federation had no incentive whatsoever to help us defend it. But it was close by enough for us to get enough friends together to defend them when we had to. Until the war broke out, of course, and then it was kind of a free-for-all. But anyway, have I got your interest still? Well, let's have a quick discussion about cost. And it'll only be quick because the numbers can change on a dime. I could spend an entire hour going through them only for them to be out of date in only a week. At present, a Capsuleer outpost goes in Jita for around 4 billion ISK, while the resource extraction management centres go for 2.6 billion ISK each. And you'll be needing two of these. These. That's right, two. You can opt to fit only one and give your outpost the secondary purpose of spawning Nihila space pockets. But the majority of outposts will be running 2 extraction modules to maximise their planetary materials output. So at current prices, you're looking at an investment of 9.2 billion ISK. Honestly, I can remember when I struggled to sell an extractor for any more than $1 billion ISK. Those were dark times. The return on investment can vary between 3 and 6 months depending on market conditions, what resources you choose, and of course the quality of the constellation that you are set up in. And also do note that you cannot use the resource extraction management centres, that's quite a mouthful, or the regular Capsuleer Outposts in Cobalt Edge, because things are just different over there. As for tutorials on anchoring them, setting them up from scratch and so on, unfortunately I don't have the footage to hand to go through it all step by step. That said, however, check out Jika Forta's player structures videos. They may be a few years out of date, but apart from the introduction of scanners for finding them, very little has changed as far as his videos are concerned. If I can get my hands on some footage from somewhere for anchoring an outpost from scratch, I'll happily do a tutorial for it, but until then I highly recommend Jika Forta's videos. And I guess that about rounds off today's Ramble-esque video. If you want to get in touch about video ideas and such, check out my Discord link in the video's description. I honestly keep forgetting that I even have a Discord server at times. But anyways, thanks for watching through to the end. Fly casual, dangerous, and most importantly, have a good time.